Professor. My name is Alex. So today we will be going through the 4 points that we have learned this past month, which are coaching effectiveness, leadership, team cohesion, and team communication. I have chosen the sport football. The reason my favorite sport is soccer, but it was really hard to find clips in regards to what the characteristics that we have to go and describe. It was really hard to find clips regarding those, so I will be going with football. I don't know how to put those in the video, so I will be trying to describe the scene of the movie I am speaking about. I hope that works with this. Effectively leadership. So we went through the video of Coach Corral, the really sweet man who was fired from the NFL, and the transition that he had to go through to find his appropriate effectiveness to create effect in these players, to find his own niche in becoming a better coach. So leadership is transformation. It's transformational theory leadership. Out here, we're leaders, and participation engaged in multiple ongoing processes of raising one another to a higher level of motivation, okay, through emotional intelligence, leadership, self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation and empathy, and social skills. Leadership process oriented with skill awareness using multiple ways of diversity. So the way that I noticed that he did this was he didn't fit a specific box. That's why I think he actually had so many career paths within football. But the best thing that fits this description is, I want to say, Gridiron Gang, the movie with The Rock, where he's the coach. At first, he's not a very effective coach. The kids hate him, but he had to change in the way of becoming what they needed. And he had to deal with a diverse set of children in a locked up situation that they were incarcerated, and he became transformational through his way of then developing his own character into helping these kids get through what they needed to, kind of like Coach Corral. He had to change the way he didn't have to change, but he had to change to where he fit best. And that was, I think, the junior college. Was it junior college? The colleges. He became like the highest paid coach for college football. Coach effectiveness. It is motor effective leadership we get motor effective leadership through experience. You're not just born with the skill, you develop it through time. So with that one is, you can't just be a coach and bark orders at your athletes to do what they need to do. They need to develop trust. This was a very good example with Coach Summer, the lady in the red shirt that kept yelling at kids, just yelling directives at them, just kind of putting them down and not giving them anything to kind of lift them up. No motivation whatsoever. And it's a motivate. You have to be motivated to learn the skill. So it is a skill to be able to properly coach effectively. It's not just something you're born with, not something like, oh, it's in me. Some people have it, some people don't. But for the most part, more people need to learn through experience how to become an effective leader. And in this, a coach. By providing verbal instructions, by demonstrating these instructions, by providing structural feedback, encouragement, creating plans and implementing them, by motivational speeches, or motivational talking to the athlete as an athlete and not as a team, by using reinforcement, positive approach rather than to succeed from just a fear of failure. And a way to use this is the sandwich effect that I read in the book, was by reinforcing, motivating, and then correcting the error. And then that one, the best movie clip that I can think of with that is Remember the Titans. Through when he packs all the players to go to like their little camp, and he wakes them up at the crack of dawn, blowing the whistle, and he's like, if you guys can't make it back, run back home. It's the speech once they get to the cemetery, I think Gettysburg, that shows the effective leader he actually is. Like, you ain't gotta like each other, you ain't gotta love each other, you gotta respect each other. And I think when an effective leader can have that kind of movement towards a team, the coach themselves are what's right, not the team obviously, but the coach himself have also self-reflect and become something that, you know, without a good leader, you're not going to have a good team. And he became a better coach within that speech, because after that, the kids, the athletes, respect each other. They don't technically like, not all of them like each other, because we always know there's that one guy that doesn't like anybody. But they develop a better cohesion, and then in the end they respect them a little more. They're not back at the school yet, but they respect him more based on that speech that he gave. Team communication. As far as team communication, I can't find a good clip, or I can't think of a good movie. I'm sure I could have seen The Longest Yard, or Friday Night Lights. I'm not a big football fan, I'm a soccer fan. So, team communication, a multi-dimensional process that involves sending and interpreting messages through a variety of sensory, I can't read my own writing, like models, through verbal, nonverbal, written, spoken communications. The way a message is expressed will influence how it is received and interpreted. This is 100% true, which entails from active listening to engage conversation, tone of voice, facial expression, body posture. Coaches heavily credibility in the eyes of their athletes to develop trust and respect in leadership. And athletes are more motivated most by coaches whom they have a lot of respect for. And communication has to do with a lot of that. And a lot of the players who are on, I guess it's the pitch when they're out in the field of positive communicating. You can't just yell a directive. You have to show the directive. Be the person they need to see. Be the display. Be the example. Hey, I need you to say it like this. Don't be afraid. We're a team, and it's positive communication. Not just like a drill sergeant, not based on the Army, the Marine video, but most people are not good communicators. They struggle with simple directives, and but positive communication, team communication, is through a diverse way of doing it. Team cohesion. Team cohesion is excuse me. Team cohesion is broken down into needed to create synergy, and it's broken down into two key points, which is task and social. Social cohesion is a high of understanding of each other as individuals, and then task cohesion is understanding the fellow athlete's style of play. When the social cohesion needs to know how you work together as a social group, like basketball, like soccer, like football. Understanding and developing the relationships between social cohesion is the foundation of social cohesion. If you guys can't get together, like each other as a group, um, the cohesion is interrupted. It's not as well blended. And then and that's the one that you need to know person. You don't just know player number five. You need to know what player number five likes, how he best is needs to be approached when communicating. What is the best tactic to approaching in communication, or giving them a directive like, hey, with this one you could be more straightforward, more direct. They won't get their feelings hurt. But with player number 10, hey, you gotta soft speak and kind of use your hands and be a little more, a little bit more sugar in the comment. In structural criticism, they don't take well, kind of like that. And in task cohesion, it's different. It's less of knowing them as the person behind the player is. You kind of just know the person by how they play. That one's kind of knowing them not as a person but as the player themselves. Like, hey, number 11, when he goes off with his right foot, first, anytime it's this kind of status, or he shoots better when he's in that corner of the field. He can throw better with his with dominant hand, but yet doesn't use his dominant leg or something like that along those lines. But and that's it. I hope. Sorry, I couldn't make it more entertaining. I don't know how to add videos onto this, so thank you, person.